Hi, I'm Lauren, and it's so nice to be with you and to be able to share part of my story of how Jesus has changed my life. And I'm hoping that in our time together, I might be able to hear how Jesus has been changing your life. I grew up on the Central Coast, which is about 4 hours south of here. So growing up there, it was probably much more similar to life in Tamworth than life in the city of Sydney. And I grew up with my two parents who were Christians, and they moved from the Philippines a few years before I was born. And they enrolled my sister and I in a school, a Christian school, and we went to the church in the area. Growing up, I'd known about God my whole life, and I really, really wanted to please him, and I wanted heaven so badly. I read my Bible and I prayed regularly, and by the age of 10 I'd memorised a Bible verse for every letter in the alphabet. And I'm wondering if you have a similar experience or if you can imagine a child in a similar way. And thinking of those people, if you can say how you can tell if they're a Christian. I'm asking you that question because I wasn't a Christian. I didn't become a Christian until I was in high school, because something I had to realise was that being a Christian wasn't about what my parents believed. It wasn't about going to church, but it's actually about what you do with the person of Jesus. And so when I was in high school, I went on a high school camp, and one of the leaders was telling us for the first time that I heard that Jesus was the only rescuer to fix my problem that I had with God. And I'd heard this so many times before, so many times, but this time was different, and I can only thank God for his Spirit working in me, not that it was a supernatural event, but that God helped that leader to tell me that if after I accepted Jesus, I wanted to try and add good works to that, what I was doing actually wasn't adding, but it was taking away from his gift that he'd given me. What it was saying was that I don't trust that Jesus' death is enough for me, but that I thought that I needed to do something to earn God's acceptance of me. And I remember thinking that it was such an arrogant thought, because why would God need me to fix the broken relationship? It was an arrogant thought because I'd spent my whole life trying to please him, and as I was trying to do that, I failed again and again. And so how could I fix it at all? And so the other thought that the Spirit helped me with was it gave me a great sense of freedom and a great sense of relief, because I got to know that I didn't have to earn what God had given me. Instead, I got to have the free gift that came from God. I didn't have to do a thing. And the Bible told me that while I was still a sinner, Christ died for me, and he gave that to me. And so I had that great freedom to know that with that gift of Jesus, he lived that perfect life that I couldn't live. And he died so that he could take everything that I'd done wrong, so that God could see me as living the perfect life that that Jesus had lived. I don't know if you have people in your life that you feel like you have to earn their love, or their love changes based on what you do with them, or whether or not you do what they want, if you did the job that they wanted, or if you looked after your kids the way that they wanted. And growing up, a lot of my relationships with adults felt that way. But God transformed me, first by showing me his free love and his free gift in Jesus. So I get to no longer live in fear and uncertainty of whether or not I earned God's love. But instead I get to know that Jesus died for me. And when I fail again and again, it's not about me trying to answer that with trying harder, but it's that I get to come to Jesus and the cross and what God did for me, and sit there every single time and thank him for the certainty that I know that God's given me. And so I want to live my life following Jesus because of what he's done for me. And when I fail at it, I get to go to him again and again and again. Thanks for letting me share my story, and I'd love to hear yours at lunch.